Have you ever tried to get the perfect picture, but it's either too lopsided, blurry, or just overall not what you want? Well, it may have something to do with the camera or where it's positioned. Today, I'm going to show you what type of lens is going to be what you want for your picture, how to set it up on a tripod, and finally, the benefits of having a picture set up in a professional way. So first, let's get started up with setting up the camera and attaching the lens. You're going to need a camera, of course. Today, I'm just using a basic little Canon camera. And for starters, you want to attach your battery and your SD card. These are the two most essential and possibly the most important things you'll need. On the bottom of your camera, there's going to be this little kind of trapdoor-like thing. You just want to flip it up. And then as you can see, there are two little slots here. The wide slot with the little gray hook is going to be where you stick your battery, and right underneath it, this slim one is where you're going to stick your SD card. So now you're just going to take your battery, and on about every single battery, at least for Canon cameras, there's going to be a little arrow pointing down. That's the way you want to put your battery in. So you just want to slide it in, and then you'll know it's secure when that gray little hook is over your battery. Now it's time for the SD card. You can just take any SD card that's fit for your camera, and then you're just going to insert it in, and then you'll know when it fits, if it slides in perfectly, and then you'll know it's secure when you hear a faint little click noise. Then you just want to close it, and then you're good to go. Now, if you want your camera to be extra protected, there's going to be things called lens caps on just about every single lens you have. There's going to be one on the back of the camera and one on the front. The front one is your most important one. You want to have it on there at all times because these can cost anywhere between $500 to $2,000. So you want to make sure that they're extra protected. So then you're just going to take your lens cap off of your camera. This one is also very important. And today, since we're just taking a basic picture, we're going to go with our short lens. Your short lens is typical for like just basic standard pictures. But if you want to get pictures with long shots or sports pictures, you're going to want to go with your long lens. But today we'll just go with our short one. You're going to take off your back one. And then you're just going to screw it on. And then you'll know once it's on there if it aligns perfectly in there. Usually the two little buttons at the top will align with the little red dot on your camera. And then once you hear a click noise, that's how you know it's secure. To get the lens off though, you just want to click this button right here, push it down, and then just twist it off. So it's really super simple to get the lens on. Now let's get into protecting it. So again, just taking the lens off. Most cameras are going to come with this little clear, thin thing. Personally, I like to put these on my cameras before any shots because these things are only $100 a piece. The lenses can be, again, up to $2,000. So if anything happens while you're shooting, you have an extra layer of protection so that way you don't ruin your lens. Just going to screw it on until it tightens. And then I like to test out my camera first. So on the top is going to be little switches. You can just turn it till you get to the one you want. And you just push down this little button. And you know it's working when you hear that noise. If it's not working, you have a serious problem that you should probably take a look at. So now that we have our camera all set up, now let's get into setting it up on the tripod. This is a traditional tripod. It's not anything super fancy. On just about every single tripod, there's going to be these little pegs. If you want to elongate your tripod, you can just undo the pegs and stretch it out. But today we're not going to do that. We're just going to set it up normally. And then I like to attach my camera first before I stretch out my tripod. I just find that it's a lot easier to do it that way, and it's safer for the camera. And then on the bottom of your tripod, there's going to be a little hook thing. You're just going to want to twist it on there and then set it up. And it's good to have a support system underneath, or else you could risk ruining your camera, and it's just easier overall. So then once your camera is secure, you can stretch out the legs just like this. And then to make sure that your camera is perfectly aligned, on the side of every single tripod, there's going to be a leveler. You've probably seen some of these in either your dad or grandpa's shop or at any hardware store. If you want the camera to be straight, there's going to be a little bubble that's going to be in the middle of your leveler. If it's not in the middle, then you can just take the little piece sticking out and just move it up and down to get it perfectly leveled. And then all you have to do is switch on your camera, and then you're ready for a picture. Now, let's get into some of the benefits of having a camera like this over a traditional iPhone or not even having a tripod. If you don't have a tripod or anything, you could risk your camera being lopsided or just overall not perfect. Now, why I prefer a professional camera over an iPhone is that these tend to be a better quality, they're less blurry, and the darkness is overall just better. To recap, we went over how to set up our camera and to apply a lens. Then we went over how to put on our tripod, and lastly, we went over the benefits. Now, are you guys picture perfect ready?